And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Always Pressing PGA DFS podcast. And we have made it to the first major of the 2023 season. The Masters. Augusta, Georgia is the home, and we all know that very, very well. So a lot of this will be repeats for you, but then we'll talk about 88 players. They're teeing it up in
Right.
Augusta. You can find me on Twitter at BDN. Check the podcast at Always Press DFS. And my co-host, as always, on Twitter at DFS Golf Gods. Jesse, how are we doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well. It's a great, great time of the year.
Yes, for sure.
Yes,
Yeah, spring
yes.
is the second best season behind summer.
Summer. You
I'm
still
a
like
summer
summer even
person.
though it's so humid
Yes.
for you?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
You don't
I'd
care?
rather it
Yeah.
be hot, me being able to be outside, play golf.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Spring starts that, and the golf season, kind of the unofficial start of the golf season is the Masters here. So great week.
I'm with you. I can feel that. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I guess before we get into the Masters, do you have any thoughts on the Valero Texas Open?
Dude, I didn't watch hardly any of it. Did not watch any of it on the weekend. I watched Live
How
on
was it?
Saturday
'Cause
and Sunday.
Big Dick Brooks got it done.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
got 2 wins. Two wins
Mhm.
on the Live Tour.
That was a historic victory. He was the first 2-time champion on the Live Tour. And that's what they said on the broadcast.
I believe it. I believe it.
The golf course that they played on, like, it might be like a $75 a round golf course in Orlando.
I heard that before it started because I didn't get to see it, but I heard like they're playing a course that no professional would probably ever walk onto type thing.
It was an odd course. Like, and for me, it starts like just looking at the rough, like just mow the rough down.
Mm-hmm.
Just because there's just like chunks of grass. It looks like the freaking municipal golf course that I play that's $18 a round. You know what I'm saying right now? Because that's just how the grass grows in the spring. It's kind of sparse and chunky. But otherwise, the broadcast is just bad. I don't even know how to explain it, man. Like, there's music, like loud music going on the whole entire time, which they're blasting across the whole entire golf course. It's fine. I guess that's the but louder part. The announcers, just as bad as any announcer. I mean, like, talking about like, oh, this is heading to the middle of the green, and then it ends up 10 yards short of the green. It's like, just shit like that. It's
so good.
And then they also have like a little man syndrome. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have to constantly be talking themselves up, to make themselves feel more superior than what they are. It's odd, but Brooks got the W there, and then of course Corey Connors. Did you watch any of the PGA Tour?
I watched a little bit at the golf course after we wrapped up our round yesterday. I didn't get to on Saturday. I was really focused going into Friday because I even texted you. I'm like, I have a 6-6 going. I can't wait to see how this gets screwed up. And it did, because Will Gordon decided he didn't want to play golf on Friday. And, the guy that's made 7 straight cuts coming into the week, we thought, like, okay, this is pretty good. Like, yeah, he went 4 over on the day, I believe. And it was brutal. Absolutely brutal.
It was a P. Raj week, though.
Yeah, and of course, I almost texted you on Sunday because I was golfing. I checked the leaderboard midway through, and well, it is a P. Raj week because Sunday showed up and he forgot how to golf again. So it was 100%. All the false hopes, does his thing, and then shoop. But still, he would have paid off if you played him.
Oh, 100%. I don't know what his price was, but wherever he finished, T5 or whatever it was.
That's why I talk about him too much, because when it comes to GPP plays, he does that crap all the time. Then when you really want to buy in, he just doesn't show up at all. But he fit the mold of the kind of guy you're looking for, as we talked about, and he did just enough to make you some money if you did it.
Yep.
The kind of bummer, I guess, to it, if you look at some of the leaderboard, I guess, like Connors was popular. Like, a lot of the dudes were the popular plays, so you kind of had to navigate wisely. So P. Rogers would have been huge for you if you would have gone that direction, stuff like that. Yeah, I had some good ones, and even my 2 low guys made the cut. It was just Will Gordon didn't get it done. So it's what it is. I don't mind those kind of tournaments. I just didn't get a chance. I was busy all weekend with other stuff. But
I'm with you.
I will watch this weekend as much as I can. I guarantee you that.
From Thursday to Sunday, correct?
Yes.
Maybe Monday.
Yeah, I think we might get Monday. That's a great point. But yeah, Easter festivities, the family might have to understand we have priorities on this day. But let's get into that. Let's talk some Masters here. And this is a place we talk about time and time again, is the quintessential place when it comes to course history and past experience at Augusta, Georgia. So what do you got for some past event history?
Well, I guess I should have pulled that up.
I can tell you Scotty Scheffler won last year.
Yeah,
I know that
Scotty
one.
Scheffler was definitely
Brooks Koepka didn't know that, but we know that.
Scotty Scheffler won last year. He shot 10 under, 3 shots over Rory McIlroy.
It wasn't even that close, though.
No,
He was
didn't he
running
double
away
the
with
last
that Sunday.
hole?
Yeah, and Rory hit sand like a birdie from the sand on 18, so it should have been like a 6 or 7 shot.
Yeah. Hideki.
Yeah, there you go. That's an amazing shirt because I'll just say it for those that aren't watching it live. The moment when his caddy did the bow, like that's just legendary golf stuff. Like that's the kind of things you remember forever. Like shows the importance of the Masters, I should say.
Yep. And Hideki was the champion 2021, 10 under, 1 shot over Will Zalatoris. 2020 was the COVID delayed year, so this was played in the fall. Mm-hmm. And DJ shot 20 under, won by 5 shots over Sung Jae and Cam Smith. Tiger Woods won this in 2019, if anybody remembers that. Probably very few do, I would imagine. 5th victory at the Masters, 13 under, 1 shot over DJ, Brooks, Xander. Patrick Reed year was 2018, 15 under, 1 shot over Ricky Fowler, who didn't make the cut.
Nope.
Sergio Garcia, 2017 winner, 9 under in a playoff over Justin Rose. Danny Willett, the 2016 winner, the year that Jordan made like a 7 on 12.
That was brutal.
Yeah, but he won he won by 3 shots, so shot 5 under that was bad weather week. 5 under, 3 shots over Jordan Spieth, Lee Westwood. Jordan Spieth won in 2015. 18 under, which was the course record or the tournament record until DJ in the fall broke it. 4 shots over Phil and Justin Rose. Bubba Watson's won this twice. Adam Scott has won this twice. Phil Mickelson has won this 3 times. Zach Johnson won in 2007 at 1 over par. I mean, how far are we removed from 1 over par on this golf course?
Par. That's wild. If you think, just thinking,
he laid up on all the par 5s, and I think it was a bad weather week that year as well. But yeah, I just remember him laying up on all the par 5s and then hitting wedge shots to like a foot. Yeah.
Oh, and you got that wedge game working. Does wonderful things. We'll talk about the course briefly. I'm pretty sure if you're listening to this show, you know about Augusta. You know about the Masters, the whole shot there. But if you want the specs, we got a par 72, 7,545 yards. It's one of the longer stretches in golf, especially for the way it's built. Undulations throughout the fairways and throughout the course. The fairways are slanted, so there's really no level shot anywhere. You got Amen's Corner on 11, 12, and 13. There's been a lot of work done on the golf course between 11, 13, and 15 in recent years. 15, I saw some pictures today looking at some stuff. They moved the tee box back, and they made it I think it's like 545 yards now, par 5. And the narrowness of the shot you have to hit off the tee, I will put $100 down. I hit at least 9 out of 10 into the trees.
Are you on 13 or are you talking about 15?
13, sorry, 13.
Yeah, okay.
13.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no, 100%. That tee shot.
That's terrifying just looking at the picture on my computer screen. Yeah. Like I just know for a fact in my mental midget head, I would be yanking stuff into the right side because I'm a lefty, just pulling it straight to the trees. Because I usually have like a little baby fade, so I kind of have to start right usually. So now I'd have to trust my shot to go straight. That's not happening. So I just know for a fact that God I don't play from the tips because I'll be in front of that area. Because they showed where Scotty teed off in 2022. And it's basically where the opening is. So they brought it all the way back to make you guys, and it makes them have to think because it was one of the easier. It was like a 505-yard par 5, so it was like super easy to get there in 2. On it was like a 5-ish% eagle rate, give or take, in recent years. Almost a guaranteed birdie if you didn't find Rays Creek. It was pretty much a done deal. So that kind of makes it a little more. Do they hit a safer shot, lay up, wedge it in for birdie? Are they going to be aggressive? Kind of takes a little of that aspect into the game. But the par 5s is where it has to be done. There's 4 par 5s. Obviously, there's 4 par 3s, 10 par 4s. The par 5s, you have to score. It's the only 4 holes in the entire golf course that play under par. Keep that in mind. That's pretty crazy. Yep. That's a sign of a pretty awesome golf course, honestly. Yep. But you got to beat that up. The par 3s, we know the challenges. You got the ones that you get a hole in one every Sunday on. You got that going for you. You got certain aspects of the Masters, and then on Amen Corner, you got 11's a long par 4, 12's a pretty challenging 155-yard par 3, but it's challenging for 155. and then you got the par 5 we talked about there. So you got all that. The par 4s are daunting as well. 9 of the par 4s are over 440. I believe it was 5 of the 9 or 4 of the 9 are over 490. So you got some big par 4s. So you have to get it big off the tee and then long irons in, unless you just really crush things. And then, you got to be really good around the greens, because this is a tough course where you got to kind of lay up once in a while, or you want to hit shots where you might not want to, so you have a safe shot to save par. Bogey avoidance is huge at this event. So there's a lot of little things. I think the biggest thing is we got a ton of course history. That's going to be huge. I don't know how important it's going to be, because I'll let you know the weather better than I do. So I'll give you the floor on that in a minute. So that might kind of throw some of the course history out a little bit, because might give the Bombers an even bigger advantage. Because if you guys want to read something really cool, we've been referencing them a lot lately. At PGA Splits on Twitter, I believe it is. I actually got his Twitter up. At PGA Splits 101, Ron Close. He always does narratives to win golf tournaments. He did the 19 facts to win the Masters. And it's legit, Bombers. I think it's 13 in the last 15 years. Guys led the field, and it's very evident. Past history is evident. Some really cool things in that regard. But you got to have a well-rounded game to win any major. You definitely do have to Augusta. So, what's your thoughts on your stats you're looking at, and then go ahead and give us some weather as well.
Yeah, I think you did a great job there. Short game matters greatly around here, in particular putting on typically lightning fast greens. The one thing about Augusta that most people know is that they have a sub-air system across the whole entire golf course, and what that means is they can pull moisture out of the soil at as pretty much as high a clip as they'd like. Obviously, if it's raining, it's going to be wet. And one of the things that people bitch about a lot, or at least the pros bitch about around here a lot, pretty much the only thing is mud balls, because the grass is bent grass, and it's kind of new bent grass, so it's not like it's fully. It's not like you're playing in the middle of July or something, where all the grasses come in, so you can get some mud balls out there, which I suspect we will get this week because, Thursday there's isolated thunderstorm risk. Winds don't look terrible. Not looking at Wind Finder here, just kind of looking at what I use, which is Weather Underground to kind of forecast here. But it does look like there's going to be some thunderstorm action, but it may not be that. The highest risk is it basically at sunset or after. So not a huge deal there. Thursday, we should be, knock on wood, fingers crossed, good to complete that whole day. Friday is when the rain chances really start. And the biggest chances, again, after dark, but all throughout the night. And then into Saturday, and the wind does pick up as well from Friday AM to Friday PM. So there's potential that a PM AM split could be better. But everybody goes off one here. So it's not like the way that they do tee times is not like, you're going to go tee off at the last group on Thursday and then turn right back around and tee off the first group on Friday. So you would have, once they come out with tee times, just kind of check that out. But potentially, there is that potential wave advantage. And then whether or not they stop anything, I don't know. It is going to be pretty chilly on Thursday. 50 degrees is pretty much the high and low. It's really not. It's 55 to 50. So it's pretty much staying, but raining. I feel like as long as it's not thunderstorms, lightning, that they'll play, and it's just going to be miserable. If you ever play golf in 50-degree rain, it sucks, but you're playing the Masters. So I would go out there 10 straight times in 50-degree and it raining.
Yeah. If you told me my only options is 50-degree rain to play Augusta, I'm there, and then whenever the first flight leaves.
Yeah,
you got me. I'll shut this
obviously these guys
right now.
These guys are a little different. They get to play it once a year, most of them, anyways. So
maybe we'll get to see the Scotty where he puts the sweater on, takes the sweater off, sweater on, sweater off. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. With all the gear these guys have, all the top of the line gear.
Hopefully Nike figured something out there. Here, let's
another layer to Scotty though.
Yeah, let's give you something a little bit lighter, buddy, or whatever.
Wild. But one other thing, like you kind of mentioned there, this probably means we get lift, clean, and play, which
potentially
makes things interesting too.
It does. Yeah, I mean, and really, if it's going to be raining as much as it is, we really want lift, clean, and place. That way, it takes out that kind of mud ball aspect of it, where guys hit a shot and it goes dead right because
just got
there was
chunk of
mud
mud
all
on
over
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Or they're trying to hit it left because of the chunk of the mud and somehow it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. And now they're God knows where. And
Right.
yeah, you'll see Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth. Man, if that's the case, please keep a camera on Spieth the entire day. Please. For all of our sakes. Put it on. That can be Netflix full swing. 4 rounds of Spieth with mud balls. Do that. Girl or mic'd up, please. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be wild. The only other thing I'll say is the wave advantage. It could get neglected if they stop action for like an hour, bring them back on the course. Stop.
It could.
So
yes.
then just goes out the window. So I don't know how. I agree. If they play it straight through, they're just going to be a wave advantage. We've seen that so much lately where we think we have a weight advantage and they pause it for an hour or two and it just throws the whole thing off the rails. So we'll have to see there. The last thing I will mention before we talk about DraftKings is this is 88 golfers in the field. It's T50 and ties make it through. None of that closer within 10 shots anymore. So T50 and ties. You have I think it's like a combined 15 amateurs and like past senior winners, pretty much guys you can almost occasionally an amateur or two makes it through. I will say that, but for the most part, you can probably cross off 10 to 12 people right out the gate. So now we're talking getting closer to the 70 to 75 range. So maybe 20 guys don't make the cut after that. You're getting a lot of 66 is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
so keep that one in mind as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk some DK. And I do have the early ownership projections because the prices have been out for a while. If you have any questions on that, I'll just say this much. All guys in the 10K range are chalk. They're all projected at 18% or more. So 2 of them basically 20% or more. So keep that in mind. But 10K and above, you got Scotty Scheffler, defending champion at 11-1, John Rahm at 10-8, Rory McIlroy at 10-6. And the last thing I'll say is in my model over the last 24 rounds, that is 1, 2, and 3 in my model. So kind of checks the box. Every once in a while, we scratch our heads at our models. That one checks the boxes.
Yeah.
So
you figured it out there. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's just Scotty Scheffler.
Yep.
I do anticipate Rory getting plenty of ownership. I mean, what I'm looking at right now, Rory's projected higher own by a couple of percentage points there than Scotty. Rahm obviously would be the kind of pivot here if you're going to, if you just say, hey, I want to get some leverage. That's where Rahm would come into play. 27th, 5th, 7th, 9th, 4th, 27th since 2017. So I mean, he's got a shit ton of top 5s or top 10s in there. So it's not like he's not played well around this place, but. I don't know. It's just I really like Scotty. I'm just going to go with Scotty. It just feels like the same last year. Like he came in here hot. He's coming back in hot. I think he defends the title.
Yeah, if I'm paying up here and I'm already thinking I'm not going to be a ton, it's just so hard to avoid these guys. That's the problem because we don't even need the article for this, but that PGA splits, the cream clearly rises to the top in this tournament. If you want to, 100%, it's very clear. So like we've talked about other tournaments, like I'm just going to fade this and start in the 9K. You can in this field because it's a major field, so it's loaded. But man, like these dudes, you expect one of these 3 to be in that final pairing come Sunday at least. Yep. Like it's just the way of the world. So I'm with you. Scotty be my choice. Rahm will be the lowest owned, but still chalky. Like I said, you can't really go wrong with you. Like you want par 5 scoring over the last 24 rounds. Rahm's first, Rory's third, Scotty's 7th. If you talk about bogey avoidance, Scotty's first. 3-putt avoidance, which is kind of big on these greens because they have some weird slopes and speeds. Scotty's 2nd, Rahm's 9th. Par 4s, 450 to 500. Talked about those. Scotty's 3rd in this field. And then DK scoring, Scotty's 3rd and Rahm is 1st. So they're the beasts. I go Scotty too, but it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out because no one would be surprised if any of these guys are sitting there at the end. They should. Right. 9K range, now it starts to get fun because we start entering the world of live. Because there's, forgot to mention that, 18 live golfers in this field. Yep. So if you do 88 people, let's just say for easy math's sake, we're talking close to like 20%, like 15 to 20% of the field is live golfers. So
by the way, all 4 of the Yard Goats GC are playing as well. So,
did you get some gear yet? Do you have some gear yet? Are you
no, I don't plan on ever buying anything that has anything to do with live. But they mentioned that probably 17 times on the broadcast.
I believe it. I wouldn't be shocked if they ran a broadcast of the CBS feed with their broadcasters just to show their live players on their CW or something.
Yeah, CBS wouldn't allow that. Neither would
I know. It'd be hilarious though.
It would be.
9K range, Cam Smith at $9,800, Spieth at 97, Cantlay at 95, JT at 93, Homa at 92, Morikawa 91, and Xander at 9,000. How do you run through this one?
Love Jordan Spieth as well. Like my plan right now is to roster Scotty and Jordan Spieth as much as possible.
It's not a bad plan.
Jordan, he's going to get ownership just because of his course history. He did miss the cut here last year. I don't really remember what happened there. He shot 74, 76 the first 2 days. I just don't remember why.
Broken.
Yeah, I mean, this year he's a lot better, especially off the tee. And then he just gets the magic beans when he gets to Augusta as far as putting. And there's certain places you go where you just feel comfortable and you can roll the rock and everything is pure. Jordan Spieth here. I mean, miscut last year, 3rd, 46, 21st, 3rd, 11th, 2nd. So I will take as much Jordan Spieth as I possibly can. Justin Thomas is interesting, though. Going back to the PGA Splits at PGA Splits 101, of all of his trends, 2 guys met all of the trends, and that was Rory and Justin Thomas.
Yep.
Justin Thomas never missed a cut here, at least since 2016, 8th here last year. Not really having a great year coming in. He's going to be lower owned, I think, than Spieth for sure. Maybe Cantlay, potentially Homa. So I like Justin Thomas quite a bit. And then Morikawa, he's improved every year. He's been here 44th, 18th, 5th in his last 3 starts at Augusta, come off a 13th place finish at the Players' Championship. If he can putt, I think he's a great GPP play only, and not in large field GPPs, if you know what I'm saying. He's a wild card to me with the putter. But if he can get the putter going, then I like his chances. Or if it's difficult and it's not a birdie fest and he's got, and 4 under is winning the tournament, Morikawa stands a really good chance with his ball striking.
And the one thing with Morikawa is tilting as he can be because of that ball striking. He's 19th in bogey avoidance, so it's not as great as you want, but he knows how to kind of keep it together, is what I should say. 6th in par 5 scoring in this field, 5th in approach, as you'd expect from Morikawa. It's like him and JT, they're the ones that I really want to be heavy on because of their skill sets. If they can just roll the rock, like you said, their putting has been atrocious. That's what's killed them. Morikawa over the last 24 rounds, 71st in the field in putting. JT 61st. Remember, folks, there's 88 golfers, and these are 2 of the best players in the world. If they could just putt, for crying out loud, everything else is glorious across their stat sheet. So I'm with you on both of them in tournaments. Both of them, I know JT makes cuts here, but I don't even know if I want him in cash. They have such a GPP. I think if you're fading that 10K range, you start with those 2 guys, you still have some pretty strong win equity in my mind when it comes to tournaments. So that's kind of the approach I would play because you don't have to have the winner here, but I think you have to have the winner here. Let's put it that way.
In order to finish high in most GPPs, unless there's some kind of catastrophic, massive amount of chalk missing the cut, you have to have the winner. This is the week where if you don't hit the winner, just
go home.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're not going to win a bunch of money.
Turn your app off.
You're not going to win the big tournaments on DraftKings unless you have the guy who's winning the tournament.
So that brings to the fun part because Spieth will be super popular, like you said. JT is going to be pretty popular too, but JT Morikawa is kind of what I like. I don't mind Spieth, but then there's the 3 guys. There's Cantlay, there's Homa, and there's Xander. Cantlay's got the rough major history, but coming in and playing really good golf right now. Played some Florida events that he usually doesn't play. And he's 4th in my model. He's playing really strong. He's number 1 in the field in par 4s, 450 to 500. You got Homa, who's tied at first in those par 4s. He's 6th in my model. He's played here. He just hasn't been great here. But I think we all know, and we've said it many times, this is a new Max Homa that we're seeing out there right now. And he's coming in off of some success because I don't have the results for the match play because, who cares? It's a different animal. But 6th of the players, 14th at the API. We know what he did in California. So Homa's got that going for him. And then you got Xander, who's 5th in my model. So this is 4th, 5th, and 6th in my model. And they're the 3 guys that are kind of getting overlooked in this range compared to the big dogs. And Xander's getting chalkier now that I just reset that. But you look at Xander, and it's interesting with him because he missed cut here last year, but in 3rd, 17th, 2nd the previous 3 seasons, which is pretty darn good. 19th at the Players, 39th at the API. His current form is okay, but it's not what you kind of, I guess, winning form is what it feels like, but a guy that's played very, very well here. And so that's why I think the Xanders, the Homas, the Cantlay could be some pivots in this range if you need them. But I'm ideally looking at JT and Morikawa, like you said. The one guy neither one of us mentioned, and I guess we'll just get this elephant out of the room now. It's Cam Smith, and we know how great he plays here, like phenomenal here. But the question I have more than anything, because I think both of us can agree that, if he's on, he could easily win this thing because he's Cam freaking Smith. Like, he's that good. What are you doing with the live guys? Because it's just tough to see how their form is, the courses they're playing, the fields they're playing against. There's just so many factors involved. They're still elite golfers, obviously. They could whoop all of our butts with as many strokes as they want to give us, probably. But how are you approaching the live guys?
I'm a Cam Smith fan, and
I love Cam.
I think he shot like 5 under for the week last week at the Orlando Municipal Live Championship. But I was listening, and you kind of mentioned too, but you said it was background noise. I was listening to Mayo's pod today with Feinberg and Tim Anderson, and one of those three said he thought that potentially Cam was hurt. I don't know.
That's not good.
To me, I mean, like, he's a low owned. He's going to be super low owned. I mean, I've got him at like 8%, which is the lowest until you get to DJ. Is that what you're showing too?
Yeah, when you got Cam, I got at 12.4. I technically have Max at 12.7, so they're both pretty close. But DJ's at 14. Yeah, so they're the two. They're basically the two. If you don't count Homa, they're pretty much the two lowest all the way to DJ. Yeah.
I mean, and if you remember last year, like you probably don't, but I do remember, like, I loved Cam Smith coming into this tournament.
We both did. We were all in on Cam Smith. I very, very much remember that.
And he ended up finishing third. Very, very good finish there. Last year, I was looking too. I like to look at kind of historical stuff, especially when it comes to the Masters, because there's so much data out there. He was 9,900 last year, finished third, but that was coming off the Players Championship win. Since then, he hasn't won anything. Missed a couple cuts. Now he plays on the Live and hasn't.
He won the Open Championship.
Oh yeah.
I was about to say, let's not say he didn't win anything.
For some reason,
and then he went to Live.
I don't know why that's not on my list here.
Yeah.
Won the Open Championship. I forgot about that. My bad. But then since he's gone to Live, 42nd, 22nd, 24th, and I don't know what he finished this past week, but it was like in the 20s again, like mid-pack again. So I don't know. Like, I'm not going to play Cam Smith. Would I talk somebody out of it, especially like in the Millie Maker, $15 Millie Maker? No, I wouldn't, because who knows? But I just would say the only thing I'm saying is tread lightly there.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel with most of the Live guys. If I'm going to take a Live chance, it's probably the cheapies, like the punts almost. Then the guys.
Yeah, there's one coming up though that's definitely playable.
Well, maybe we'll get to him in a second here. Let's go to that 8K range. You got Tony Finau at 7K. Maybe it's DJ. I don't know. At 88. You got Jason Day at 87. Cam Young at 86. Vic Hovland 85. Hideki 84. Burns 83. Willie Z at 82. And we don't know what his situation is. Sajay at 81. And Fitz, man, if he was healthy, I'd be so happy, at 8K. So how are you approaching the 8K range?
Yeah, I mean, Tony Finau, 8,900. Never missed a cut here
since the Kuchar Square.
Do what?
It's like the old Kuchar Square.
Yeah,
8K range. Here he is.
Yeah, it is for sure. I mean, there's a lot of guys to like here. I've almost got them all checked off. But Tony never missed a cut here. Best finish with 5th in 2019. Finished 10th, I think, in 2021 after rolling his ankle. I believe that was the same year they rolled his ankle, like almost snapped it off. Playing pretty well coming in. I mean, 3 straight top 25s, or 5 straight, 6 straight, 7, 8 straight top. He hasn't finished outside the top 25 since he missed a cut back in November. So obviously playing really solid golf. DJ is the guy I was just referencing.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think he's playable. So the one thing I was watching the Live broadcast, and they had an interview with DJ on the range, which was one of the good things that was kind of cool about the broadcast. But he said that he was hurt going into like whenever, like, I guess Tucson or whatever. So he hadn't been playing at all. And he just like started playing like 2 days before that. And now he's starting to feel it again and starting to get back into a groove. So he's got really good course history here. 12th, he did miss the cut in 21, but 1st, 2nd, 10th, 4th, 6th. So that's pretty solid. And I don't think Liv fucking finishes matter. It's really terrible. Jason Day is going to be so chalky.
Yeah.
He has missed he has missed the cut here 2 straight years, but has not finished outside the top 20 since he missed the cut to RSM back in November. I mean, basically a top 20 machine this whole entire year. A win is coming for him. I just don't know if it's this week. I do like Cam Young as well. He did miss the cut here last year, but really solid showing at the match play. I think Hideki is a low owned play this week.
Yep.
He's not going to be popular because a lot of people just don't like to play Hideki for whatever reason. But also he's got this injury shit going on. He hasn't missed a cutter since at least 2016. His worst finish in that time was 32nd. Otherwise, he's finished inside the top 20 every year. Does have that win in 2021, and is back to back really good showings for him. Texas Open, I know it was a shitty field, finished 15th. Before that was 5th at the Players Championship. So I like Hideki just as that low owned play in this range. And then Will Zalatoris, like you said, is he healthy? I don't know. All of a sudden, like, it's weird. I mean, his course history 6th and 2nd in his 2 appearances here. I don't know what to do with Will. Do you have any feel on him? I mean,
no, this is where I wish beat reporters going to do a darn job. Like, the dudes withdrawing from events. Like, the questions aren't hard to ask, folks. Like, really, like, how's your back? That's 3 words. like, come on. I'll write it on a piece of paper and just hold it up. I don't care. Like, it's just not complicated stuff here. And that's what's so fresh. Like, we talk about it every week, it seems like, with these guys. And it's just like, what in the world are we doing here?
No, 100%. They finally asked Terrell Hatton what happened with his hand. I don't know if you saw that. He said it was just like basically like a stinger on the range. But he also missed the cut last week and played shitty at the match play. So
how bad is like I'm scared to play Tyrell this week. If he's healthy, I'd be locking him in probably at his price. We'll talk about it in a little bit. It's just and Willie Z, if he was healthy, he might not be 82 because he might be finishing so poorly coming into this. But we talked about how cold it's going to be. You and I just talked about back problems before the show. Not good.
No,
not good at all. Like, remember when J Day had to have a heater on and he was like walking around and stuff? Like, this ain't good, folks. So I'm terrified of Willie Z. If you are maxing out something, play Willie Z in some of those, please. Because if he somehow is healthy, he's going to be worth every penny of $8,200. That's all I'm going to say. I just play like 3 maxes and stuff. I can't afford to take those gambles as much. But you big boys definitely do. Love Fino. I'm with you there. DJ, I'm with you. I'm like, to get low owned Dustin Johnson, who, it's little silly stuff. We talk about chips on shoulders. And we think DJ doesn't care about things, and he really doesn't. But he's also human, and he hears everything that's said.
You know what I don't think he gives a shit about is Liv.
Yeah, he doesn't. He cares about winning, and this is a chance to shut people up.
He wants to win in front of on the biggest stage. This is the biggest stage. He'll be ready.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm not worried about him. Some other guys, I'm like, maybe. DJ's showing up. If he's showing up, he's showing up to play. Like, he's not just messing around. It's like we used to say, like with Tiger. If Tiger's suiting up, he's suiting up to win. DJ's coming to get it done. So we'll see there. I love Jason Day, but I don't know if I can play a chalk day with Finau and DJ right there. And then I love Cam Young as a pivot, like you mentioned. Like, this 8K range is awesome. It comes down to, like, it's hard to go balance though, because you need to have the winner. We talked about the winners above, so it's hard to get too many 8K guys, but you can mix and match here easy. I think Cam Young with the miscut, whatever, debutantes, they've never won here. They don't usually play well their first time here. But if we're talking a wet course, a bomber's course, he's 4th in the field in driving distance. This guy's phenomenal off the tee. He could really, really put up some points here and DK points and make it happen. Vic is a very interesting one because, like we talked about short game being so important here. He's horrible in short game. We know this. But we also talk about the course here. He's 27th, 21st, 32nd. Not the best of finishes.
You know what's interesting about his short game?
Yeah.
Again, from Mayo's pod, which was, like you said, background noise, but they mentioned on there, like Mayo mentioned that he loses strokes around the green like 90% of his rounds or something on a regular PGA Tour event, but he like gains on like 80% in majors.
Well, he steps up. Maybe it's, the format. Maybe he's a guy that just needs the juice.
I don't know.
Yeah, everyone's different, but
maybe he doesn't smoke weed or something before.
He looks like he could easily. I'm telling you, like, he's got that vibe. But the players T3, API T10, those are big boy fields, tough golf courses. I think he's a fun one. If we're looking at potential like ownership, he's like 14%. Cam Young's like the lowest potential in the high 8s, low 8s. He burns, and Willie Z are low. The other guy, I love Hideki. I'm with you. I always love playing him because, like you said, no one does, and the dude legit has won the Masters. So I hate to break it to you. Like, and he just had he had a 15th last week. I know it's Valero. It's not a big tournament. I just want to see him play a healthy 4 rounds, and he did. Like that's 5th of the Players, 15th of Valero. Last 2 events, I will take that. I don't know. He didn't do much at match play, but who cares? But the last guy I will mention here, because he's mispriced in a big way to me, especially we're talking just like bogey avoidance and just making it happen, is Sung J M, $8,100. He's 7th around the green, 4th on par 5, 6th in bogey avoidance in this field, 16th in my model. Like, at $8,100, it's a great price for Sung J. I will be pretty heavy on Sung J M, so I like that. The guy I'll ask you about here, and I know we're covering like every player, but it is a major field, so it's worth talking about most of these guys. And I said it kind of when I introduced these guys. If we're talking wet conditions, crappy scoring conditions, that screams Matthew Fitzpatrick. But I am terrified of his neck injury. So are you in or out?
It's difficult off the back-to-back missed cuts there. You know, both of them in Florida, which is a little bit different, but still, I just like his course history. It's good from the perspective he hasn't missed a cut here, but it's not a difficult cut to make, and his best finish is 7th in 2016. I mean, I don't know. I'm out on Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't. I'm not going to play him.
Yeah, with all the other guys and as many 6-6s, it's like, where do you take your chances?
Right.
Yeah, that's the hard part. All right, 75 to 79. You got Lowry, Hatton, Neiman, another live. Rose, Fleetwood, Tommy Kim, Brooks, Koepka. I just want the videos of him walking around Augusta. Corey Connors, Minwoo Lee, Adam Scott, DeChambeau, and your boy Sahith Theegala. So what do you like in this range?
Yeah, Shane Lowry at 79 is very interesting to me. Because he finished 3rd here last year. He's made the cut 3 straight years. He did miss the cut a couple times before 2020. Coming in all right form. I mean, he has made 4 straight cuts, got 1 top 5. I mean, it's not great, but I do think he'll be low on. Love Tommy Fleetwood. I feel like I love Tommy Fleetwood every year at this course, and it just sucks. But he hasn't missed the cut here since 2017. I think that was the year that I went down there, watched him hit 1 shot, and was all in on him, and he missed the cut, if I remember correctly. So I'm not all in on Tommy Fleetwood. Let's go ahead and just say that. But do love Tommy Fleetwood, especially, again, if we're getting back to kind of tougher conditions as far as the scoring is low. This is not a birdie fest. Maybe a little bit of wind, whatever. Love Tommy Fleetwood in those conditions. I guess Corey Connors is going to be 100% owned. I don't know.
My goodness, the win and the course history combination. My God.
So, I mean, his course history is great. 6th, 8th, 10th, 46th. Obviously won last week. Didn't he win last year coming into this as well?
Yeah, if he didn't win, he finished pretty darn good.
No, he finished 35th at the Texas Open last year. It must have been the previous Texas Open. Yeah.
His first career win was Texas, yeah.
I don't fucking know I guess he won it in 2020. I don't know when he won it, but whatever reason, it doesn't matter. He just comes in and finishes inside the top 10 at the Masters. You know, this is the spot. Like, typically, I'm just like, I'm not going to play a 20% owned Corey Connors, but that just continues to bite me in the ass. So I guess I'm gonna have to play some Corey Connors this week. Minwoo Lee finished 14th here last year, coming off a 6th place finish at the Players Championship. Last but not least, Adam Scott, past winner here, does not miss the cut. He's a solid cash play. If you're playing cash this week, I would not play cash this week, but if you're playing cash this week, Adam Scott should probably be in your lineup because he's not going to miss the cut. And again, if it's one of those tournaments where, you know, it's 4 or 5 under par wins it, he's got a chance to win the whole thing. So
there's the one narrative, and people are going to hate this because I always call it in baseball. This is bad analysis, but this is what it is. If it is bad weather, if it is wet weather, if it is windy weather, Team Euro goes a long ways, folks. A long, long ways. Like, it sounds silly, but it's just a proven fact. Think Open Championships. I know it's like that's just an extreme, but we love Lowry when it's wet like this. Even in America, when he plays in on the American courses, like, we love Lowry in these conditions. I'll be back in on Shane. I loved the fact that, because I can't remember what podcast I was listening to. Someone was interviewing like Lowry's caddy or one of Lowry's buddies' caddies or something. and they mentioned because Lowry was playing event after event after event, and it just kept coming because there's the tournaments like the Honda he always plays, but then all the other events around it he has to play because they're all elevated events, and he flat out said he'd show up to the range on Wednesday, and Lowry was exhausted. He did not want to be there anymore, but he was showing up to play. He just took a few weeks off. Personally, I think I like that a lot. I'm gonna take that as a big plus in Shano's side, Shano Max. So because he finished 67th at the API. That's not a Shane Lowry finish. I don't know how to break it to you. So a couple weeks off, like me, because he played a little better at the match play. Still wasn't great, but he played better. So I do like Lowry. I wish we liked Hatton, but I don't know what to do there. And then the Justin Rose at 78 and Fleetwood at 77. I like both of them a lot. Fleetwood for the obvious reasons you mentioned. And then you got Rosie, who 36th at Valspar, 6th at the Players. We won at Pebble. He missed the cut here last year, but then 7th, 23rd, missed cut 12th. So the moral of the story there is when he makes the cut, probably a T20 or better situation there with Rosie. That's called the tournament play if I've ever seen one. So I like both of them. Connors is pretty good. He reminds me, he's cheaper even than last week, but he reminds me of the Ben Martin conversation we had at $8,100. Like he's gonna be so chalky, but it's like just play him, and he finished like T8 or something last week. It's just sometimes DK, and these prices came out early too. These are before Corey won, so that could have maybe changed things. Minwoo Lee's gonna be pretty popular because he played really well here last year. I like your Scotty call as well, but this is like a Team Euro range, and you throw in Corey Connors on top of it. I would love to play Brooks. I'm just going to watch Brooks, and hopefully he plays all 4 rounds. So I just want that narrative on TV for 4 rounds. That's what I'm here for. All right, 7K to 75, 74. You got Answer, Bradley, Siwoo, Patty Reed, Taylor Moore, Tigre, Tiger Woods, Aaron Wise, who withdrew last week, so keep an eye on that one. Usti, Mito Pereira, Kirk, Kitayama, Mitchell, Horschel, Henley, and Sergio. So who you liking in this range?
I thought Wise completely withdrew, from this tournament as well.
Okay, he's still on my list, so maybe he did. Okay.
Yeah, he put out a statement saying that he was withdrawn from the Masters to deal with mental health issues.
Hope for the best.
Yeah, we definitely wish him all the best. He's got to be in a rough spot if he's
missing the Masters. It's going to be pretty bad, pretty bad.
Siwoo 7,400 hasn't missed a cut here since 2017. His best finish is 12th 2 years ago. And he's coming in playing just, normal Siwoo shit, just about missed the cut at the Texas Open, but somehow made it and then finished 40th. So there you go. Tiger Woods is playable at 7,300, especially if nobody else is going to play him at 5% owned. Mm-hmm. I usually don't like to play Tiger because a lot of people like to play him, but if he's going to play, he's going to be in shape enough to walk this course. I mean, last year it was bad. He finished 47th. 2020, he finished 38th. When was the car wreck? Was it in 20? I guess it was in 21.
Yeah, it was after Max Homa won the Genesis. It was that next morning.
Okay, so it was 21 then, because he didn't play in this in 21. So yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, Tiger at 7,300. I mean, whoever does the projections for what I'm looking at here has got him way low. I don't know. It's hard for me to believe that. And if he's going to be 5, 6, 7% owned,
I got 7%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at 6%, so it's right there in that same neighborhood. I like Tiger. Louis Oosthuizen is interesting to me. I like to play Louis at Augusta. I mean, it just who knows with the Live dudes. He did finish second at the Live Tucson event.
Yep, in a playoff. He lost to Damien in a playoff.
Oh, okay. That's what happened. Yep. See, I'm just now becoming a Live fan after this past week, whenever I watched but he finished 7th at the Alfred Dunhill Championship, which is a European Tour event back in December, and that is played at 3 different golf courses. One of them is St. Andrews. So seems like Louis playing pretty decent golf at the moment. I think Mito's all right. I don't know, man. I mean, again, it's just difficult to say. He was pretty high up the leaderboard, I think, at the Muni Orlando event. Keith Mitchell, love Keith Mitchell. So he hasn't been here since 2019. Finished 43rd in his only appearance. So that was his first start, made the cut. And then he's coming in just playing pretty solid golf for Keith Mitchell. I like the ball striking, so I'll go with Keith Mitchell. And yeah, I mean, that's it.
Yeah, I love Siwoo. I keep playing Siwoo. He kind of is he had like streaks where he started hitting birdies and he'd go bogey. It was a Siwoo week last week. He like had signs where he was going to take off and went full Siwoo. But I like him on a course, I guess, Shot Shapers course. Taylor Moore is very intriguing to me. Picked up the W a few weeks ago, his first of his career. He's never played here before, but when we're talking guys that have just been consistent across the board, like just to make the cut, potentially make a little bit of a run. We've seen him play pretty well in some of these tougher events. So like 35th at the Players, 39th at the API, first at Valspar. Valspar's not an easy golf course either. So I'm intrigued there with Taylor Moore at $7,300. The Usti and Mito calls, I was staring at them a lot earlier because now we're getting cheap enough where it's like I'm pretty sure that they can make the cut. And Usti plays tough courses and bad conditions extremely well. Like that's his wheelhouse. Not so sure how Mito does in the bad conditions category, but Usti very good. So he's on my agenda at $7,200. Chris Kirk, if the conditions are better, I'd be all in on Kirk. Still a little hesitant there because his biggest weakness out of any in this field is it doesn't bomb the ball much at all. If it's wet and the Bombers get that bigger advantage, that can be tough. But he does have great long iron play, so it's kind of like, how does that work type deal. Like he's 8th in par 4s, 450 to 500. So he obviously can put it out there and play the long iron game pretty darn good. So he's interesting. And then I will say Kitayama is on my radar just for the fact he can bomb the golf ball. His long iron play is third in proximity of over 200 yards in the last 24 rounds. And if anything, he's a DK scoring machine. He'll get you bogeys, he'll get you birdies. And that's where you get these cheaper guys like just make the cut and just like start just racking up DK points any way you can.
Yeah.
And Kitayama is a dude that's very intriguing to me in that. And he plays, it feels like he plays better in like those, if the winning score is like 9 to 12 under type range. And so if it's even lower, it might be even better for him. So I think Kitayama is interesting at 71. 6K range. How you taking us home here without taking any of the old guys?
Tom Hoagie, whatever, 6,900, 39th here last year, coming off a third place finish at the Players Championship. Gooch, 14th here last year. Since then, I don't know what the fuck he's done, but not much. Been playing live golf.
Just living life.
I feel like he's a GBP play. Cameron Champ, man. 10th, 26th, 19th in 3 appearances.
Insane.
At Augusta National, coming off 4 consecutive missed cuts on tour before they finished 53rd at the Farmers Insurance Open and missed 3 consecutive cuts before that. So he's made 1 cut in his last 8 starts. It's just boom or bust, right? Like, I don't know, man. It's just it's like the magic of Augusta National. It's hard not to play him. Like last year coming in, he probably was playing better, but it was off of 2 consecutive miscuts at that point. So like last year, he finished 10th, and before that, he was miscut, 61st, 67th, miscut, 46th, miscut. So, like, what's different besides the fact that he just has missed a couple more cuts this year? So, Cam Champ, very interesting to me. If you're down here in this range, man, I don't know if I can click on anybody else. Maybe Moronk, 6,400, but he is a debutant, so not really in love with that. Sepp Straka had a hole-in-one today on 12.
Ooh, on 12.
Finished
look at him.
30th here last year, 22nd last week. So 6,300 if you're down here. Other than that, I really, it's hard for me to click on any of these names. I'm going to be living a lot in that 75 to 7,000 range and trying to avoid, for the most part, getting below 7. But obviously, there are some plays. I think Hoagie is very playable.
Yeah, I'd like to avoid it. But Hoagie, I have checked off 39th in his debut last year, coming off of a 3rd place at the Players. We talk long iron play, longer golf courses. He plays very well. He's first in approach the last 24 rounds, 5th in 200 plus, 17th in DK scoring, 28th in par 5. So for $6,900, he's pretty solid. I do like Gooch at 68 as well. I'm with you there. I'm glad he's on live now because Kevin Na, I always play Kevin Na. And I'm just staring at Kevin Na, and it's just terrifying. Like, he's made 4 straight cuts, 14th, 12th, 13th, 46th at the Masters. That's pretty dang good for $6,500. And I'm like sitting there going, he's been at live and he hasn't done anything except get new wardrobe for his team. So like, I don't know what he's got going on here, but at 65, slightly intrigued. I will say Charles Schwartzel at 64, if we want to get real weird, is another guy. He hasn't played on tour in forever, obviously, but he's played well here, past winner, and he finished 10th even here last year, 26th, 25th the last 3 years here. So that's another dude at 64. If you want to go cheap, I could see. But yeah, like when I'm sitting here looking at Schwartzel and not going, this is interesting. I should probably just scroll up higher. That's probably where I should be. So I'll try to avoid this range like you if I can. Let's recap things real quick here. 10K range, I'm pretty sure we have the same guy.
Yeah, Scheffler.
Yep. 9K range now gets a little more fun. So
Spieth.
I'll let you pick two. Pick two. It's a loaded range. Spieth and who else?
Spieth and Spieth.
All right, I'll go JT.
Spieth and JT.
Yeah, I'll go JT and Morikawa. Man, but I will say this much. If Cantlay and Homa come in as low owned as they're projected compared to the other guys, yeah, that could be fun. Be very fun. 8K range, go ahead and give two. There's a bunch here too.
Hideki and Tony Finau.
Didn't say DJ. Wow. I am going to go with Hideki and Sungjae M. That's my guys. 75 to 79.
Fleetwood.
Yeah, that's probably. I'll go Lowry. 7K to 74.
Keith Mitchell.
The more we talked about it, I'm kind of doing it. I'm going Usti. I'm going to go Usti at 72. I think that's a fun one. And then 6K.
Hoagie.
I'll go Hoagie. I just don't want to be down here at all.
I don't really want to pronounce it Hoagie either. Like I want to pronounce it Hogue. It's not Hoagie to me.
I hate to break it to you.
I know it pisses me off.
It's the North Dakota, and my half my family's from North Dakota. It's like you almost got that Canadian North Dakota accent meets together.
Yeah.
Now say Hoagie, and it makes sense. It all checks the boxes.
It does.
All right. If we said we're not doing cash, so if you're doing GPP, obviously, like I would say, almost a million ways to go about it in this field. How would you be starting out a GPP lineup?
Scheffler and Spieth, then figure it out. I mean, I like Usti too, so Usti Tiger is down that range because that just leaves you 7,300. It starts getting a little bit sketch, but I love those two, so I'm going to hammer those two this week.
I'm going to say JT, Morikawa, and Hideki Matsuyama. Let's do it. Let's have some fun now because this is where it gets really, really interesting. Let's talk DK. And there's tons of props you guys can bet this week to have a lot of fun if you want. But we're just talking winners here. Rory 7-1, Scotty 7-1, Rom's 9-1. I don't remember the last time we had three golfers less than 10-1 in the Masters at one time. That's impressive. What are you looking at here? Because we did say cream rises to the top.
I mean, like, why do all three of those guys have to be less than 10?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a major, and it's not like, I don't know.
Like Vegas is scared is what that sounds like to me.
Yeah, that's something I can figure out as well. You're probably correct there. JT at 20, potentially. I mean, obviously Scotty at 7, but who's betting that? And then Morikawa at 25 would be, somebody I would look at there. Once you start getting past
DJ.
Yeah, DJ, I think at 22 has got some. Apparently, Brooks like 2 days ago was 75 or 90-1.
Yeah,
now he's 35.
It's insane. He wins a live golf tournament on some Muni courses, Jesse said, and he got a massive bump.
I mean, I wish you should go look at some of the highlights of that golf course.
I'm gonna have to check it out because I did Google this morning. I just Googled the results. I want to see the leaderboard because I was just curious if anybody played well. And I got to go look for pictures. I guess
you should like it. The greens were baked all to hell, first of all. But second of all, like, you know where they moved the holes? Like, you can just see where the new grass is growing in.
Oh,
just
Jesus.
A billion of them.
It is straight up a muni. You're 100% correct.
Awful, dude. Like, that, I don't understand. Like, who booked that golf course? Of all the golf courses, I mean, like, there's a Trump course.
Yep.
There's Doral. Like, did Trump say no?
No, they're already playing 2 or 3 other Trump courses this year, I think. Like,
well, just play all Trump courses. I mean, hell.
Yeah, they might as well. At least they're well manicured and taken care of,
Right? Yeah, I mean, his courses ain't looking like that.
No,
I'd love to know what a round is there.
I'll tell you off air. But we'll wrap it up there, as this is going to be fun. We're very much looking forward to this. It's just great when you get the best of the best. And what's crazy is we get Harbortown next week. It's an elevated event. Like they went bang bang. Right. With the big dog. You'd think these guys would want like a week off, maybe, but no, they'll be teeing it up. But, yeah, after a major, you kind of need your head to just relax for a week, right? For the grind. But any final thoughts for the Masters?
I don't, man. I'm really looking forward to watching golf and hopefully not tilting too hard on Friday when my dude bogey's 18 to miss the cut.
Yeah, the tilt's even worse here, like we said, because almost 3/4 of the field was going to make the cut.
Yeah,
so it really stings.
Yeah,
really stings.
I mean, you're dead if you don't. You got to have the winner, and you got to have 6 of 6.
Yeah, you have to have a winner, probably a couple more top 10s, and 6 Like, it's just be real about the situation here. And that's why we spent so much time like 8K and above, is these guys are going to be the dudes you have to have and navigating. It's going to be fun. Watching the ownership change up till Thursday is going to be fun. So if you have any questions, hit us up in the Discord. It's free, Fantasy DJs Discord. We'll be over there. Or check out Jesse on Twitter at DFS Golf Gods, the podcast at Always Press DFS. I am at BDentric, and we will catch you guys next time.